let's talk about something that happens at almost every company. We're going to dive into a really powerful framework for diagnosing what's actually going wrong under the hood. It's based on the work of Dr. Cristina Imre, and it's all about cutting through the corporate noise to find the real root of what we like to call strategy problems.
I mean, think about it. How many times have you sat in a meeting and thought, ugh, we have a strategy problem? Maybe you're obsessing over the go-to-market plan or product market fit. You spend weeks, maybe months trying to fix it. But what if that's not the problem at all? What if you're looking in completely the wrong place?
Well, according to Dr. Imre, that's usually exactly what's happening. She argues that these big, complex, strategic issues we talk about are often just masks. They're disguises for fundamental human problems. The kind we avoid because the conversations feel hard, they're uncomfortable, and they're personal.
And that's where something called the mirror test comes in. It's this 5-step framework, and it's designed to reveal all those hidden truths. Why is it called that? Because the real issues, they're not on a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint slide. They're right there in our own reflection. It's about what we as leaders see, and maybe more importantly, what we refuse to see.
Okay, so how does this thing actually work? Well, the framework is broken down into 5 diagnostic steps. We're going to walk through each one, and you can think of them like a super sensitive stud finder for the hidden cracks in your company's foundation.
First up, step 1, listen for the gap. Now, this is not about becoming some kind of human lie detector, okay? It's much more subtle. It's about sensing that disconnect, the gap between the words someone is saying and the actual emotional truth behind them.
Yeah, we often think that reading people is all about catching them in a lie, but it's not. It's about noticing when the energy just doesn't match the message. You know that feeling when someone is saying all the right words, but the conviction, the belief, it's just not there. That's the gap. Think about it. Picture a CEO saying, "Oh yeah, the team is just killing it," but their voice goes totally flat when they mention their co-founder by name. Or maybe they rush through a certain topic, or they say the word aligned while their eyes dart away from you. That unevenness, that's data. So here's a powerful little diagnostic for you. Record your next big leadership meeting, and don't watch it, just listen. Listen for where the energy dies. That's where you need to start digging.
All right, on to step 2, and this one is so surprisingly simple, but wow, is it revealing. It's this: track repetition. See, people don't repeat important words over and over again by accident. Those repetitions are massive signals. They're practically signposts.
Here's the rule of thumb. If a word pops up 3 or more times in about 10 minutes, it's pointing you directly to whatever is unresolved. So if everyone keeps saying alignment, guess what? It means you have absolutely none. If trust is the word of the day, it's because trust has been broken. And if you can't stop talking about execution, it's probably because deep down, you don't actually trust your team to execute. The word you repeat is almost always the exact thing that you're missing.
Step 3 is all about finding the boundary, the edge of a leader's comfort zone. The framework calls it locate the confidence edge.
I mean, every leader has their zone of genius, right? The topics where they are totally in control. The product, the tech, the numbers. But then, ask them about team dynamics or their relationship with their co-founder, and suddenly their whole posture changes. The answers get vague, maybe even a little defensive. That discomfort, that edge, that's exactly where the real, undiscussed problem is hiding out.
Now, for step 4. And honestly, this is often the hardest one of all. It's simple to say, but hard to do. Name it directly. Once you've found that confidence edge, you can't dance around it anymore. We're all so guilty of this, right? We soften things with corporate speak. We say things like, "I'm sensing some tension." But just compare that to the raw power of saying, "I don't think you trust your co-founder." The first one, it just creates more anxiety. But the second one, while it's really hard to say, often brings this huge wave of relief because you finally named the thing everyone is exhausted from pretending not to see. And finally, that brings us to step 5. This is all about sequence, getting the order of operations right. You have to stabilize the human foundation before you try to build anything else on top of it. This is the rule that breaks so many companies. You simply cannot launch a new product or restructure the entire organization if the leadership team doesn't fundamentally trust each other. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation full of cracks. It's just doomed to fail. You have to fix the human layer, the trust, the communication, before you try to execute the big, flashy strategy, not the other way around. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this is all really solid leadership advice, but why is it more urgent right now than it has ever been before? Well, the answer is 2 letters: AI. Let's be crystal clear about this. AI is an amplifier.
It does not magically fix your broken processes or resolve your team's simmering disagreements. It takes whatever you already have, good or bad, and scales it at the speed of light. If your operations are kind of messy now, AI will make them 10 times messier, pretty much instantly.
Let me give you a perfect real-world example from the source material. There was a company that couldn't agree on their customer service tone. Should it be super empathetic or brutally efficient? Instead of actually solving that human disagreement, they just trained their support AI on both. And the result? A totally schizophrenic AI that confused the heck out of customers and absolutely tanked their satisfaction scores. See? The problem wasn't the technology. It was the unresolved human conflict that the tech just put on steroids.
Okay, enough theory. Let's make this personal. It's time to turn this diagnostic tool on yourself and your own team. It's time to look in the mirror.
So take a second, really think about these. On a scale of 1 to 10, how often do you say one thing but feel another? What are those buzzwords, alignment, trust, execution, that you just can't stop saying? What's the topic that makes your stomach clench just thinking about it? And come on, be honest with yourself. What's the one thing that you know needs to be said but no one's saying it?
So, what's the verdict? The source gives us a simple little red flag test. If you went through that list and identified 6 or more of these concerning signals, the gaps, the repeated words, the topics you avoid, your foundation is probably broken. And that means any strategic work you try to do is pretty much destined to fail until you fix that human layer first.
And that really just leads you to this, a stark, binary choice. There's no middle ground. Option A is courage now. You have that uncomfortable 2-hour conversation this week. You fix the human foundation and you build on solid ground. Then there's option B, crisis later. You avoid the hard talk, you keep calling it a strategy problem, and you spend the next 6 months in pointless meetings while the cracks just get wider and wider until the whole thing implodes. The choice really is that simple.
So the ultimate mirror test, the thing this all boils down to, is this one final question. What do you already know? That VP who isn't performing, the quiet friction with your co-founder, the product that everyone knows is off track. You already know what the real problem is. The only question left is, will you find the courage to stop strategizing and finally start looking in the mirror?